The following program is sponsored by SHP Financial.
Have you saved more than $1 million for retirement? Is a big part of your retirement savings inside an IRA or 401k? Well, saving money in one of these tax-deferred retirement accounts seems like a great deal at first, but they could trigger massive taxes when you retire. And that's why it's critical that you have the right strategy to withdraw this money in retirement, because even a small effort here could lead to a windfall in tax savings. Hello and welcome to Retirement Roadmap TV. I'm your host, Jackie Bruno. And in the next 30 minutes, our registered investment advisor with decades of financial planning experience will share 3 overlooked strategies for your IRA and 401k for families with 7 figures in retirement savings.
Saving for retirement is a great start, but it's what you do with this money that really matters. How will you reduce your taxes in retirement, generate income, minimize investment risk, and pay for the skyrocketing cost of healthcare? Welcome to Retirement Roadmap TV with Derek Gregoire from SHP Financial, which was founded in 2003 and now has over $2 billion in assets under advisement. This is where you can count on straightforward advice about how you could make the most out of every dollar you've saved for retirement.
Hello and welcome to Retirement Roadmap TV. I'm Jackie Bruno, and today we're talking about 3 overlooked IRA and 401k strategies that could unlock a windfall of tax savings. Joining us is Derek Gregoire, co-founder of SHP Financial in Greater Boston, and they have over $2 billion in assets under advisement. Thanks so much for joining us, Derek.
Hey, Jackie, thanks for having us. It's always good to be here. And I'm excited to share 3 overlooked opportunities that could lead to a windfall of tax savings, especially for families who have saved 7 figures or more for retirement.
Yeah, and we can't wait to hear all about this. So what is the first strategy that you're talking to us about today?
Sure thing. The first strategy could be one of the most powerful tools with retirement planning today. Yet, very few people take advantage of it. And it's really converting part or all of your traditional IRA or 401k to a Roth. Now, if you have more than $1 million saved for retirement, and you haven't explored this yet, you could be missing out on one of the biggest opportunities that could significantly reduce your taxes, not just for 1 year, but possibly for the rest of your life. Ed Slott, who's been recognized as one of the nation's top experts on IRAs, said that Roth accounts are the best possible retirement account that anyone could own. And the Wall Street Journal said that converting your traditional IRA or 401k into a Roth could potentially generate enough tax savings to make your portfolio last up to 7 years longer.
Wow, and that's something that our viewers probably need to know a lot more about, right?
Absolutely. I mean, think of it this way. Most people with a nest egg of $1 million or more have a significant piece of their retirement savings in an IRA and 401k. On the surface, that seems like a great deal because you get a tax break when you make contributions to these accounts in your working years. Plus, your contributions and investments grow tax deferred. Those are 2 big benefits, right, on the surface?
Yeah, for sure. And that sounds pretty great, at least to me so far.
Well, sometimes there's a catch. And remember here, you didn't pay taxes when you contributed money to these accounts. However, when you start withdrawing this money to spend in retirement, you'll get taxed on every dollar. This goes for all of your contributions, all of your investment growth as well. All this money, for the most part, gets taxed as ordinary income, just like when you were earning a paycheck.
Ugh, ouch. That's all I have to say about that one. Don't like that.
Well, and guess what? Your Social Security benefits and income from other investments, like interest, dividends, real estate, that money gets taxed as well, and it all gets thrown into the same tax bucket. So basically, the more you withdraw from your IRA and 401k, guess what? Your taxes will be higher. And this is why it's not uncommon for many people to have to withdraw even more money every month, right? Because you have to take this to keep this. You have to take more money out just to cover the taxes on these withdrawals throughout retirement.
Yeah. So you do everything right, you plan, you save, and then they're going to hit you with more taxes. That's so frustrating. So what can we do?
Yeah, so there are a few strategies you can look at. And this is where converting your traditional IRA or a portion of your traditional IRA or 401k into a Roth comes in. When you convert your traditional IRA or 401k into a Roth, you pay the taxes on the money you convert up front. But once the money is there and it's converted in a Roth, it grows tax-free. And when you take money out, the money's tax-free as well. So you don't pay any taxes going forward on your withdrawals from your Roth accounts in retirement. None. Plus, with a Roth account, you don't have required minimum distributions like you do with a traditional IRA and 401k. That means you decide when and how much money you take out, not the IRS. In essence, you have more control. And for households with $1 million or more saved, that control could add up to 6 figures in tax savings. So if you're 5 to 10 years before retirement or newly retired, you should seriously consider converting some or all of your traditional IRA or 401k into a Roth. But please, this has to be done very carefully with strategic planning. Don't just go out there and do this.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it on my own. I'd only hire you. That makes a lot of sense.
So, Jackie, imagine this for a minute. I'll give you a scenario. Let's say you have $2 million in a traditional IRA, which I'm sure a lot of people watching do. And let's say you do nothing and wait till age 73 or 75, depending on your age, to start making withdrawals. With RMDs and market growth, you might be forced by the IRS to withdraw $100,000 out of these accounts a year. And if you add that money to your Social Security benefits, if you have a pension, investment income, we see clients that have $175,000 to $200,000 or more in annual taxable income, which is a good sign because you have income, but this could force you into a higher tax bracket. And now you're paying taxes on 85% of your Social Security income. And depending on how high your income is, this could also double or even triple your Medicare premiums. But here's the opportunity that could help save you a lot of money in taxes. What if you started converting portions of that traditional IRA into a Roth when your income is lower and while taxes are at a 40-year low? Yes, you would have to pay taxes on some of that money you convert, or all that money you convert in a sense. But once that money goes into the Roth, it grows tax-free and it comes out tax-free. So now let's fast forward 10 years. You've done this planning, now you're retired. And you have a good amount of money built up now in this tax-free Roth account. And when you withdraw money from it, as we talked about, it's all tax-free. As a result, you may not owe any taxes on your Social Security income. Your Medicare premiums could stay pretty low, and it's all because you took advantage of this narrow window to convert some of your traditional IRA or 401k into a Roth. This is especially powerful for many people with retirement savings of more than $1 million because the tax savings are compounding. And that gives you even more money to spend in retirement.
So what are the next steps if you want to learn more about how you can convert that 401k or IRA into a Roth?
Great question. So converting a traditional IRA or 401k into a Roth, it can be tricky, right? Most people don't know this, but there are many options to convert to a Roth, so you have to be very careful. This is why we have a dedicated team who focuses on retirement tax planning. And they specialize in working with families who have saved anywhere from $1 million all the way up to $25 million. So if you've saved more than $1 million for retirement, we'll do a customized analysis for you at no charge, even if you're not a client. This way you can see your projected tax savings and what they can be. This is called our retirement tax savings analysis. We make this simple and easy for you. First, we'll get a few details from you. Our team and I will crunch the numbers and show you how much money you would owe in taxes if you do nothing at all, how much you could potentially save by converting to a Roth, and finally, what strategy or strategies would work best for your specific situation. We'll lay out the advantages and disadvantages in plain English so that you can make a confident and informed decision. I want to be very clear. This is not some off-the-shelf report. This is a customized analysis based on your specific situation, and there's no cost or obligation.
We love hearing that. Really a great opportunity. And you also get that value up front. So that's pretty incredible and without charging anything. So how much money could you save by converting your traditional IRA and 401k into a Roth? Well, find out with a free customized retirement tax savings analysis from SHP Financial. If you've saved more than $1 million, schedule your free analysis now by calling 508-318-9210. Remember, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. So schedule your free analysis now by calling 508-318-9210. Coming up next, Derek will share the second overlooked strategy that could lead to a windfall of tax savings in retirement for good savers.
You're watching Retirement Roadmap TV with Derek Gregoire from SHP Financial. This is where you can count on straightforward advice about how you could make the most out of every dollar you've saved for retirement. And now back to Retirement Roadmap TV.
Hello and welcome to Retirement Roadmap TV. I'm Jackie Bruno, and today We're talking about 3 overlooked IRA and 401k strategies that could unlock a windfall of tax savings. Joining us is Derek Gregoire, co-founder of SHP Financial in Greater Boston, and they have over $2 billion in assets under advisement. Derek, thanks again for being here today.
Always good to be here, Jackie. Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's dive right into it. That second overlooked strategy that could add up to a significant tax savings in retirement for people, with that nest egg of $1 million or more.
Sure. Thanks, Jackie. Let's get right into it. The second overlooked opportunity is having a coordinated strategy to withdraw money from your IRA and 401k in retirement. Jackie, this is critical for people who have 7 figures in savings, because if you don't have a strategic plan before you withdraw the first dollar from your IRA and 401k, you could be setting yourself up to needlessly overpay your taxes. Unfortunately, we see this happen all the time. And it's not uncommon for us to see someone overpaying the taxes by tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars without proper planning.
Yeah, and no one wants to give the IRS any more money than they have to, right?
I haven't met anyone yet so far. Maybe there's going to be someone, but Jackie, This is a lot more complicated than it seems. So I want to break it down for you. When you take money out of a traditional IRA or 401k, it's taxed just like your salary used to be. And just like we mentioned earlier, this could have a snowball effect because you could be taxed on up to 85% of your Social Security income. You could get pushed into an even higher tax bracket, paying even more taxes. And depending on your income, you could potentially double or even triple your Medicare premiums. And once you hit age 73 or 75, depending on your retirement age, it gets even more complicated. This is when the government forces you to start withdrawing money from your IRA and 401k every single year, whether you want it or whether you need it. They force you to withdraw more and more money every year until your account is either depleted or you pass away. And as a result, your taxes get bigger and bigger every year too in most instances. These are called required minimum distributions, or we call them RMDs. And once these RMDs kick in, you really reduce the options to save money on taxes in retirement.
Yeah, and that really puts into perspective that we don't have that much time. We have to use it smartly. So once your RMDs start at age 73, there's really not much you can do to reduce your taxes.
There are some things, but your options are very limited, Jackie. So let me give you a potential scenario. Let's say you're 73 years old and you have $2.5 million in a traditional IRA, 401k, maybe between husband and wife or whatever, in all of your retirement accounts. Your RMD is, let's say, around $100,000 for the year. And this $100,000 will be ordinary income that year. And then you have Social Security, pension, any other income from interest, dividends, or real estate. And when you add all these different sources of income, your total for the year could be $250,000 or more. I mean, we see it all the time. So congratulations, which is awesome. If you're retired and have that type of income, that's great. But now you could be in a higher tax bracket, paying even more taxes. In that scenario, you're paying 85% of your Social Security benefits. Your Medicare premiums could have doubled or tripled depending on your level of income. And you've all but lost your ability to take advantage of meaningful tax credits and deductions. And this will continue to happen every year in this scenario for the rest of your life. And I would bet that most people are not getting anywhere close to this level of planning. You may have an advisor, but a lot of times you're just getting a pile of investments, a portfolio. And you meet with your advisor once a year and they say, yep, you made money, you lost money. And that's the full extent of the plan. Yet the critical things I'm talking about right now could be essential to helping you retire successfully and with confidence.
Yeah, and this is another thing that a lot of people don't know about too.
Well, Jackie, most people don't have a clue about these things. And I don't want to say most people because some do, but so many don't. They go in retirement and they go into retirement, they're not really focused on this. And they get blindsided with big, unexpected tax bills. They just start withdrawing money from their IRA and 401k in retirement. There's no rhyme or reason. There's not really a strategy behind it. Another scenario we see quite a bit is someone who waits too long. They let their IRA and 401k grow and grow, which sounds great on the surface, but they don't do anything. And when they turn 73, their minimum distributions kick in and they get hammered with taxes. And they think, oh, I'll take care of this later. But later usually means higher taxes, more stress, and fewer options. But the good news is there are strategies that could help significantly reduce these taxes. That's why we encourage you to have a coordinated withdrawal strategy. This is a plan that looks at all of your sources of income and accounts, like IRAs, 401ks, Roth, Social Security, brokerage accounts, and all these other investments.
What does this plan tell you?
Well, what you want it to tell you is First, when you should withdraw money from these accounts, then how much money you should take, and then also, importantly, which accounts to pull from first and in what order. And if you've saved more than $1 million for retirement, it's important that you do this right away because this strategy could save you a lot of money in taxes. And ultimately, this could make your money last a lot longer. That's the goal, right, Jackie?
That is the goal. And it sounds like a little planning here really makes a difference.
That's exactly right. I mean, planning is so important, Jackie. And if we look at an alternative, let's imagine this scenario instead. You're 65 years old and you're retired. You've worked with a qualified professional to build a coordinated withdrawal plan. Notice plan is thinking ahead from your IRA and 401k. Instead of waiting, you start withdrawing small amounts of money from your IRA and 401k while you're in a lower tax bracket. At the same time, maybe you delay taking Social Security benefits so that benefits grow and yield a bigger check down the road. Every situation's different. You balance your IRA and 401k withdrawals with income from other accounts, like a Roth or brokerage account, and now your income stays in a lower tax bracket. This might help you avoid unnecessarily paying higher taxes or even higher Medicare costs.
It does sound a little confusing, though, so it sounds like getting the right timing here is really important. That could be different for everybody.
Absolutely. So the strategy works best if you're doing this before you're forced to take minimum distributions. And even better if you haven't filed for Social Security. Because once these things start, you begin running out of options to save money in taxes. But in the 5 to 10 years leading up to that, or early on in retirement, that's the perfect window. That's your biggest opportunity to reposition your assets, smooth out your income, and lower your future taxes. But once that window closes, then the IRS at that point has way more control.
So how can our viewers just figure out how to make these coordinated strategies with their IRA and their 401k? Again, it's different for everyone, right?
It is different, Jackie, but you've probably heard the term compounding interest, right?
Yes.
So your money is a snowball rolling downhill. And the longer it rolls, the biggest it gets. Warren Buffett credits compounding interest as a key to building real wealth. But there's something else called compounding tax savings, and it could be just as effective as compounding interest. If you implemented some tax planning strategies, and let's say it saved you $20,000 for the first year in retirement, it's not necessarily just $20,000. In many cases, it might be $20,000 every year for the rest of your life. So if you're able to save $20,000 a year for 25 years, and we're just doing math, that's over 500. That's $500,000 in lifetime savings, right? But here's where it gets even more interesting. When these savings stay invested, they could quietly snowball into $1 million or more. This is what we call compounding tax savings. And the best part is, you don't need to have tens of millions of dollars. Anyone with more than $1 million could realize significant tax savings. We'll help you uncover opportunities that could save you tens of thousands in retirement every year. That's the goal. It's called our Retirement Tax Savings Analysis, and we make this very simple. First, we'll get some basic information from you. We'll then identify the tax saving strategies that are best suited for your specific situation. Then our team and I will show you how much money you're projected to save throughout retirement. It's different for everyone, obviously, and it's not uncommon for us to uncover meaningful tax savings that sometimes changes the course of your retirement.
Yeah, such a great opportunity and important information to know. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So discover how much money you could save in taxes when you retire with a free retirement tax savings analysis. And this is not some off-the-shelf report, as we heard. It's customized to your specific situation. And it's absolutely free, our favorite word. So if you've saved more than $1 million, schedule your free analysis now by calling 508-318-9210. And you can discover really how much money in taxes you could save. So don't wait. Schedule that free analysis now by calling 508-318-9210. Coming up next, Derek shares the third overlooked strategy for your IRA and 401k that could lead to a windfall of tax savings in retirement.
You're watching Retirement Roadmap TV with Derek Gregoire from SHP Financial. This is where we tackle the toughest challenges with retirement planning today, like reducing your taxes, generating income, minimizing your investment risk, and paying for the skyrocketing cost of healthcare. And now back to Retirement Roadmap TV.
Hello and welcome to Retirement Roadmap TV. I'm Jackie Bruno, and today We're talking about 3 overlooked IRA and 401k strategies that could unlock a windfall of tax savings. And joining us is Derek Gregoire, co-founder of SHP Financial out of Greater Boston, and they have over $2 billion in assets under advisement. So, Derek, thanks again for being here today.
Jackie, as always, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So let's dive right into that third overlooked strategy that could lead to massive tax savings in retirement for people, who have that nest egg of $1 million or more.
Sure thing, Jackie. And smart retirees, they know something that the average retiree might not know. And that's when you pay your taxes could significantly lower your taxes in the long run. For example, if you wait too long to pay taxes until you're filing Social Security and taking your required minimum distributions, you lose one very important thing, and that's control. And when you give up control, you could end up paying far more taxes than you need to. We call this tax bracket management, and it could be one of the most valuable tax saving strategies that they've never heard about before, especially if you have 7 figures or more in retirement savings.
Yeah, and so tell us more about how that actually works.
Sure, think of it like this. Every year, the government gives you a tax bucket. And as long as your income fits into that bucket, you pay a smaller amount of taxes, right? But here's the catch. If you don't fill that bucket up to the top in your first few years of retirements, we believe it's a missed opportunity for significant tax savings. Because in later years, when you add up your income from your IRA and 401k withdrawals, your Social Security benefits, plus any other income from dividends, interest, real estate, if you're lucky enough to have a pension, that income bucket could overflow. And when it overflows, guess what? It triggers higher taxes in that scenario. The key is to fill up your bucket every year on purpose, just below the top. That's what this strategy is talking about. And if you're recently retired or planning to retire soon and you haven't started taking your required minimum distributions, you're in the perfect position, or actually you're in the sweet spot to make this smart move right now. Because this one smart move could potentially save you a lot of money in retirement.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And that's another thing I bet people don't even think about.
You're 100% right, Jackie. Because you probably have a few years where your income bracket in this scenario, when you're retired, is lower than it used to be, right? You're working a tier. Maybe when you retire, it's a little bit lower for a while. And we call these your cheap tax years because minimum distributions haven't kicked in and your work income stopped. And so for households who have saved more than $1 million, these cheap tax years are a high impact window to reposition wealth, harvest gains, and smooth out future RMDs. But we're going to kick the can down the road and kick these taxes down the road during these cheap tax years. If you do nothing, then you could end up paying a lot more taxes down the road. And by that time, there's little that you can do to stop it. So this isn't about paying more taxes now. This is about paying smarter taxes now so you don't get clobbered by taxes later. Does that make sense, Jackie?
Yeah, that does make sense. So what happens if you do nothing?
Well, if you do nothing, your IRA and 401k will continue to grow, which on the surface sounds great. But when you turn 73 or 75, depending on your age, the IRS will force you to start withdrawing money from these accounts, whether you need the money or not. These are your required minimum distributions, or many of you know them as RMDs. And these RMDs force you to withdraw a certain amount of money, and that amount increases every year. So as you take more money, more likely and more chances you'll pay more taxes every year as well. And don't forget what we talked about in the last segment. These withdrawals get added to your income from Social Security, any income from dividends, interest, CDs, bank accounts, real estate, anything else. And when you add up all these things, suddenly you could be forced into a higher tax bracket. You might be paying taxes on 85% of your Social Security income. Your Medicare premiums could double or even triple in certain scenarios depending on your income. And more importantly, you really lose control. This will happen every year for the rest of your life. And it gets even worse. This is something you hate to talk about, but it's so true. Let's say one spouse passed away. The surviving spouse has to file their taxes as a single person, which is a higher tax bracket. You're hitting these tax brackets much sooner. But guess what? As a single person, you still have your income. You still take out your RMDs on the total 401k and IRA values. So a lot of times they're probably getting the same amount of income, but now they're paying so much more in taxes. We call this the widow's penalty.
That's awful. And I bet, again, this is news to a lot of people, but something they unfortunately probably need to know.
Oh, you're right, Jackie. No one likes to talk about this, but you have to know. And a lot of people don't teach you this stuff. Your employer, I'm sure, when you went there, didn't sit down and explain this to you when you signed up for your 401k. And so many advisors aren't talking about this type of planning. But if you just have one takeaway from our conversation today, it's this. If you have a nest egg of $1 million or more, you can control how and when you pay taxes in retirement, and really the stakes are high. Depending on how much money you've saved, it could potentially be as much as 6 figures in tax savings. But it works much better if you act before RMDs kick in.
Yeah, that's true. So what are some of the strategies to take advantage of, during the lower tax years?
Sure. Well, the first one would be to use this window to convert a portion of your traditional IRA or 401k into a Roth. We talked about this in the first segment, and I can't emphasize the power of the strategy enough if done correctly within proper tax brackets. You'll pay the taxes on the money you convert now, but with tax rates at near a 40-year low, it's like paying taxes when they're on sale. But then all the money in the Roth that after the conversion grows tax-free, and any money you withdraw in retirement from this account is tax-free too. Second strategy is realizing capital gains. Let's say you have investments with unrealized gains. Well, that could be a smart time to sell off some of the winners while you're in a low tax bracket, right? Taking advantage of the situation. Third strategy is selling any of your concentrated stock positions. Maybe you work for a company and you have a big position in one or a few stocks, and it's a big chunk of your money. Well, that might be a chance during a low tax bracket window to strategically sell over time while your brackets are a little bit lower. Otherwise, it could become a tax time bomb later. A fourth one is withdrawing money from your traditional IRA or 401k early. Now, this one surprises people, but sometimes the best move is to start pulling from your traditional accounts or retirement accounts and IRAs before RMDs kick in.
So what's the next step to take advantage of all these tax-saving strategies that you're talking about?
Jackie, here's the problem. Most people spend their entire lives saving money in IRAs and 401ks without thinking about the taxes that this will generate in retirement. But if you do some simple retirement tax planning now, you could potentially see massive tax savings. That's where compounding tax savings comes in. This doesn't happen when you file your taxes every year in April. It happens with tax planning. Here, we're looking forward, not backwards, right? And it could help you significantly lower your taxes, not for just this year or next, but the goal is for the rest of your life. We'll help you uncover opportunities that could save you tens of thousands of dollars every year in retirement. It's called our Retirement Tax Savings Analysis. We make this really simple for you. First, we'll get some basic information from you. Our team and I will sit down and identify, we talked about a lot of different tax saving strategies, but what are the best ones for your specific situation? And then we'll show you how much money you're projected to save throughout your retirement. These strategies are especially powerful for families who have saved more than $1 million for retirement.
Yeah, Derek, that sounds like an amazing opportunity. So thanks for all that information. So if you want to discover how much money you could save in taxes when you retire with a retirement tax savings analysis, and remember, this is not some off-the-shelf report. It's customized to your specific situation and absolutely free. So if you've saved more than $1 million for retirement, schedule your free analysis now by calling 508-318-9210. Let's discover how much money you could save in taxes. So call 508-318-9210. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching Retirement Roadmap TV with Derek Regar of SHP Financial. We look forward to seeing you again soon. And remember, it's not what you make, it's what you keep.
The previous program was sponsored by SHP Financial.